Like the sound of a symphony to my ears, like holy water on my skin.
Well, good evening. So glad you could join me this evening for C3. We are blessed tonight to have our youth director, Heather Schofstall, with us.
Hello.
So we are going to get to her in just a second. But before we jump to Heather, I just want to remind all of you that not this weekend, but next weekend, we will be back for in-person worship. You have the opportunity to join us for in-person worship on Saturday, October 3rd, Sunday, October 4th. Saturday night will be the Saturday night service in the sanctuary. Sunday morning at 9 a.m. will be the contemporary service in the CLC, and 11 a.m. it'll be the traditional service in the sanctuary. Sign-ups are required. We hate to do that, but we need to do that to keep everybody safe. So remember to make sure you sign up. You can do that by going online at christumc.net or /worship. Or you can call the church office and they will take care of you getting you signed up. We hope to see you all there. If you do not feel comfortable coming out just yet, that's okay. We're going to continue to have our online service going so you can continue to engage with us that way as well. So tonight, I thought it would be fun to kind of talk to Heather a little bit about youth ministry. We were kind of laughing before we got on because I said, "How long have you been here now?" And she's like, "Just over a year." And
14 months.
14 months.
It's been 14 months.
And it seems like it's been a long time, but COVID will do that to you.
Been.
So, Heather, tell us, for people that may not know you because you were here and then COVID hit and all that kind of stuff. So if people don't have kids in the youth ministry, they might not know you real well.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about you.
So I am originally from Somerset, Pennsylvania. That's where I came from to move here. I have two children. Grant is 21. He will be graduating from Pittsburgh Technical College on October 6th with a degree in videography, cinematography, photography. He's actually working here at the church as an intern right now. He is helping Pastor Sean with all of the video stuff that's going on in the production end of things. And then my daughter Kendra is 17. She is a senior in high school this year. And she goes to Lincoln Park Performing Arts Charter School. She is a dance major there. And we'll be going through COVID year 2021
Nice.
to graduate, hopefully.
So if you're just joining us and you're watching on the website, if you want to jump over to Facebook, you can ask Heather questions and we'll be glad to feed those to her and she can answer those questions for you. If you're already on Facebook, feel free to chime in whenever. But you brought up Kendra going to Lincoln Park, which is why you were coming to the South Hills in the first place.
That is why we were moving to Pittsburgh. We were actually moving to the waterfront. We were not moving to the South Hills because that's as far east as the buses would go for Lincoln Park. And I was still going to travel back and forth to Somerset to work until I ran into you at annual conference and told me that there was a position available here. And I truly feel that God led me here, that was the reason that we ended up moving was because I was to come here. So it was in addition to Kendra going to school, but it's also a great blessing for us to be here.
So you brought up annual conference, and for those of you that don't know, that's our yearly meeting for the United Methodist Church in Western Pennsylvania. Heather and I have been working together at annual conference for 10 years.
10 years
now, working with the youth. Seth, who was here, was also part of that crew.
He was.
And Seth is actually the first person that saw you, and you were telling him about Kendra and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, "You need to go see Pastor Chris."
Yeah.
Long story short, she did, and she ended up interviewing for the position of youth director, and she got the job. And as we said, you started 14 months ago.
Started 14 months ago.
So we know a little bit about you and your family, but tell us a little bit about how long you've been involved in youth ministry.
So if I don't count the time that I was in youth ministry right out of high school, which I try not to because that was just stupid for me to be in youth ministry right out of high school. But it was also mostly family at my home church. I've been in youth ministry for about 12 years. Started a youth group in Somerset at the church that I was going to, Somerset Grace. United Methodist Church also. But what we ended up doing is we had a community youth group. There were 3 United Methodist churches in Somerset, in the town of Somerset. So all of the kids would come to Grace. When I left there, we had 5 different churches that were participating in that community youth group. And we had kids from quite a few different denominations coming in. It was a great experience. Learned a lot while I was there, but it was my start really in youth ministry.
So, like I said, I've worked with Heather with youth for the past 10 years at annual conference. So I had an idea of her capability in youth ministry. But just for fun, we thought that the first thing she should do here, we hired her. She came and she kind of looked at the church, and it was during VBX that you came and looked at the church, and then we did the interview process, and we offered you the job, and then your first day on the job was to be here on a Saturday morning at 7:30.
Correct.
To drive a van as part of choir tour from Pittsburgh to Florida and back again.
And it wasn't just a van. It wasn't just the church van. It had a U-Haul on the
That's
back
right.
of it also.
You were the one that got the U-Haul.
I was the one that had to drive the van the whole way to Florida and back with a U-Haul.
So what you didn't know is this was like your final test to make sure you could keep the job.
Exactly.
And since you brought the van, the U-Haul, and the kids back, we decided to keep you around.
I think I brought all the kids back.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I did.
So tell us a little bit about that first trip and what it was like to just kind of jump right in.
You know, that's kind of how I like to do things. So it was perfectly fine for me to do that. I love to drive, but 2, it gave me an opportunity to actually meet the kids and to hang out with the kids a little bit more and get to start those bonds very early. Normally in the summer, you don't get to do that. Not all the kids show up in the summer because of vacations and, just taking a break and everything, and that's okay. But this allowed me to be able to really get to know the kids we had some great times. We were in Disney, we went to Charlotte, we went to Washington, D.C. We were all over the place, and being able to be in that situation with the kids was actually the best way to start.
Well, you bring up building relationships, building bonds with the kids. One of the questions we have is, what have the youth taught you about your faith?
The youth have taught me a lot about my faith, to keep learning. That is what youth ministry has taught me more than anything, is that I need to continually keep learning so that I can help them in their faith journey. If I stay stagnant in my faith and if I stay stagnant in my learning, they will not learn. So I need to, I think that's the thing that they've taught me the most, is to continue to learn. And they push me. And I like that. They push my thoughts. They push my, my theology so that I know how to talk to them. They might call me a boomer, and that's okay, but I'm ready to, sit down and have the tough conversations with them, because that's where they're at.
Why is youth ministry so important to you? Why are you so passionate about youth ministry?
I think one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about youth ministry is that the youth are the church now, and they need to believe that. It is something that when I was growing up, we were always told we were the future of the church. If we don't get the kids involved in church now and we don't hook them and get them here, there isn't going to be a future of the church, because they're not going to come back. So, statistically, that's been proven. But I think the thing that really touches my heart more than anything is just the openness that they have in their beliefs, and the fact that they're willing to sit down across the table and have a conversation, even if they don't believe the same things.
Okay, great. So I know we got a lot of things going on in youth ministry.
We do.
Youth ministry didn't stop with COVID.
It did not.
It definitely changed, but it did not
Absolutely.
stop. So before we get into what's coming, tell everybody a little bit about what you did kind of to adapt with COVID coming.
So when COVID hit, we immediately went online. We started Zoom calls the first week. We were doing live Zoom calls for a while, and then after summer started coming around, Matt Manzo and I, our worship leader, we started recording some of the videos, and then we would take those to kind of like our community groups that we're doing for the church right now. We had small group Bible studies in backyards. So we did that through the month of June and met that way. And then in July, we met as larger groups. We also had a mission experience. We weren't able to go on any of our mission trips this year. So Gina Mar Simmons and I worked together to put a experience together for the kids that they could do at home. We served different ministries every day of the week. And our last day, we came here and prayed around the church. It was something that each of the kids prayed at one of the different doors, and it was a really amazing experience that they were able to do that. And then in August, we met on the Field of Dreams, had some fun playing some games, hanging outside, and September we started right back into our regular meetings.
And you're getting a really good turnout for your regular meetings, to the point that you kind of have to, because of COVID again, have to adapt yet again. So tell us a little bit about what you're thinking now.
So because of how many people we can fit into the youth center with social distancing, we are looking at, in October, splitting the middle school and the high school groups, probably starting middle school at 5:30 to 7, and then high school from 7 to 8:30, so that we can still meet in the youth center. We could go upstairs to the CLC, but it's important for the kids to be together in a situation where they're not so far apart that they can't see each other. And in the CLC, that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. So I got a great question here. What's the most fun thing you've done with a youth group? Doesn't necessarily need to be this youth group, but
fun thing I've done. Well, one of the fun things that I did actually was a practical joke that I played on Pastor Chris. They were on vacation last summer and allowed me to use their home to hold Bible study. Mistake number one, never leave the youth leader and the youth alone in your home without any supervision. So we actually maybe had some Post-it notes that happened to come along to the youth meeting, and we Post-it noted their house to the point that Post-it notes were hid inside drawers, inside pockets, maybe in the cereal box. They were pretty well everywhere, and if I'm not mistaken, you're still finding Post-it notes in your house?
In fact, that is true, and I did find a Post-it note just 2 days ago.
Yes.
Cleaning up the other day, it was under the couch, was right there. A couple weeks ago, I found one in one of my shirt pockets. Mm-hmm. They were absolutely everywhere. When she's not kidding, there were thousands of Post-it notes in our house. Never again will the youth be at our house while we're away, but it was good, and it was a lot of fun.
It was.
The kids had a lot of fun, and what she didn't tell you is all the kids put messages on all the Post-it notes.
Yes, they did.
So they
left
were
some
not
really cute messages.
They left some really cute messages. So that was a fun. Now that was a fun thing. And the kids still are talking about that.
They are.
I know we have a really fun thing coming up here in just a couple of days.
We do.
Tell us what's happening on Saturday night.
So Saturday night, we are going to have a neon night outside. We've been planning this since March. It was supposed to be at the end of March, but of course, COVID made us change that plan. So we are going to be on the Field of Dreams. We're going to have glow-in-the-dark games. I'm going to have black lights on the Field of Dreams. So the kids are encouraged to come wearing white or neon colors so that they definitely glow. We have glow sticks and all kinds of glowing items for them to wear and play with, but there's still time to sign up. We are starting at 6:00, which is pre-dark. So we will have some time to fellowship and have some pizza, and then we will go down to the Field of Dreams, play some games down there. There will be some challenges for each of the groups to do. And then we'll be here until 9:00.
Awesome. So for those of you that will be here Saturday night for outdoor worship,
yes, in
the south parking lot, you're going to hear some kids down over the hill at the Field of Dreams. They're getting ready for neon night. I'm sure Heather would welcome you to look over the hill.
Look over the hill and see what's going on.
See what's going on. And as you're leaving, make sure you leave relatively slowly because there's going to be kids all over the place having fun at Neon Night.
Absolutely.
And along the same lines, I did youth ministry for 8-10 years, maybe even more before I came here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I always heard from people when I asked them about being involved in youth ministry was, well, I can't be involved in youth ministry. I'm too old.
That is so not true.
And clearly, if you and I can do youth ministry, you're never
Anyone
too old
can do
to be
youth
involved in
ministry.
youth ministry.
Absolutely.
But
Did you just call me old?
I did not. I just maybe hinted around at it.
Yeah.
But tell everybody who's listening why it's so important for people to be involved in youth ministry, regardless of their age, because of what a difference it can make in the lives of kids.
So, we're to be in community as a church, and that is never so, I think it's very important in the youth, but it's very important in your life too, to pass that on to the youth. I was just at a conference last weekend, and one of the reasons that kids are not entering the workplace the way that we entered the workplace when we were younger is because they don't have that mentor talking into them, showing them some of the things that we all take for granted. Something as simple as changing a tire, or changing your oil, things along those lines. So, you might think that you're too old, but there's definitely something that you can teach the kids. Probably some of my best youth workers are 60 plus years old.
Not that that's old.
No, it's not. But they are, they're the ones that really feed into the kids. And the kids just gravitate towards. You will be a hero to the kids if you can just show them that you're there for them and that you're there to love them. Sometimes they're not getting that in their home life, so it's a perfect place for that to happen. The other thing that with volunteering with youth ministry is it's really not anything more than just hanging out with the kids. I don't really ask a lot of my volunteers to lead in any way. If you would like to lead in a lesson or, give your testimony or whatever, I would gladly welcome that. But really, I want you there to hang out with the kids and just be part of their lives. Just as simple as asking them how that test went. How was that game? Is there anything that you're struggling with right now? Just having an adult be part of their life is huge in a kid's life.
We have a lot of great kids here at the church. We have a lot of great adults here at the church. And I think one of the ways we can really benefit as a church is to bring those together.
Absolutely.
I hope you're starting to get a feel for how much Heather loves your kids. She treats them all like they're hers. She really cares about what's going on. She's available to them pretty much 24/7.
24/7, yeah.
Unless she's in one of my staff meetings, and even then she'll probably leave to take care of a kid. But
Absolutely.
she really just loves your kids and wants to see what's best for your kids, and wants to get you involved as a family as well, because it's just so important. So if you could leave us with just one thing of why the kids should get involved in youth ministry,
Okay.
or the parents, or why youth ministry is so important, what would you leave us with?
Jesus told us to make disciples. I truly believe those disciples are in youth ministry. And that's what we're here for. So, we're just following what Jesus has told us to do. We're loving each other. We're loving the kids. And that's what we're here for.
Awesome. Well, thank you for caring so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being willing to move from Somerset to the South Hills of Pittsburgh.
The South Hills.
and just being involved in our church, not just in youth ministry, but in the church in general. And we are so grateful that you are here. We are so grateful that our kids have somebody that cares about them so much. Kids, come out for Neon Night. Make sure you sign up online or call Heather. Parents, get involved. People from the church, get involved. And if you're here on Saturday night, don't forget to look over the hill and wave, because the kids are going to be having a blast, and you're not going to want to probably go home because it looks like so much fun. So thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
I'll bring her back on again at some point to hear more about what's going on in the youth ministry
Absolutely.
of our church.
I'd love that.
And keep our kids and our youth in your prayers. It's a tough time for us as adults, and it's a really tough time for youth. So just keep praying for them, that God will continue to lead them where God would have them to go. Have a great night, and we will see you all on Friday morning for C3 or over the weekend in online worship. Thanks, and God bless.